morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thank you for joining us on episode 5 of the Hallmark of Greatness podcast, a podcast dedicated to highlighting the beauty of all the Hallmark, Lifetime, and straight-to-TV movies that don't get the admiration they fully deserve. I'm Anthony Burke, and with me as always are my human co-hosts. He's just taken a break from checking the taps at his hardware store. It's Joseph Higgins.
Yeah, they were all to the left.
And he's hiding in a nook and or cranny after getting caught wearing Y-fronts with Tuesday written on them when it was in fact Friday. It's Craig Lowe.
Where do you actually get Y-fronts from these days? Do they actually
Marks and Spencer's?
Or are they special order?
Marks and Spencer's still do them. Old man pants.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I still do them all.
I think I'm approaching that time in my life now where I should start wearing them, to be honest.
Yeah, you're both getting on a bit now, aren't you? So.
Well, this thong isn't going to last forever, you know.
Don't need belly warmers just yet.
If you'd like to keep up to date with all things Hallmark of Greatness, you can follow the show on Twitter at Hallmark of Great, Instagram at Hallmark of Greatness, or if you'd like to get in touch with any recommendations or thoughts or anything you think we may have missed, you can email the show at hallmarkofgreatness@gmail.com.
We did get a lovely message today from a Ash J Rocks saying that she's thoroughly enjoyed it, and her partner John are engaged to be married now. And I'm not saying it's because of us, but I'm taking credit for that.
It's just like a Hallmark movie. They bonded over a podcast.
So yeah, it was nice to receive like any sort of feedback, especially positive feedback. So thank you very much for that.
We are literally shouting at the walls here.
Nah, it's fine. I see the statistics.
It is our final episode in our month-long tribute to Valentine's.
Yeah. Valentine's month.
This is our final one.
This is a proper film.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Valentine's, but, you know.
Yeah, and it's not really the most upbeat Valentine. Like, compared to the other ones that have had like a happy ending, this one is like kind of depressing. It ends up with a ghost molesting an old lady.
The other films have very, very loosely been based around Valentine's.
I mean, this was
even looser.
No.
She turned up on Valentine's Day each day.
Yeah, that's the premise. That's the MacGuffin of the film. Like, if she didn't show up every day, then there'd be no movie.
It could have been any day.
It would have been better at Halloween, wouldn't it?
It could have been any day. It could have been April 2nd, for all you know.
The train conductor showing up in a Dracula outfit going, hi there.
The train conductor, who I also thought was the military guy at the end. Because I was like, they both look very
good.
Well, multitasking, isn't it? Do you want to announce it?
The Lost Valentine. Have you got your predictions for what it was?
Yeah, I just saw Jennifer Love Hewitt and went, oh.
Good prediction.
Yeah, I was lost me at that point. I was just like, well, 1998 Craig is very happy.
Joe, the one we all look forward to every day.
It's not a good one this way. It's difficult because there's not a lot you can do with that. Helen meets up with Chip at a Lost convention on Valentine's Day.
Ooh,
that's all I had. There's not a lot.
Oh, no.
No.
He's loving the numbers.
Oh.
There's not a lot I can do with that. Sorry.
And they were dead all along.
Yeah.
Well, spoilers.
The actual synopsis doesn't really do all that much either. A reporter seeks the truth about a woman's husband, a pilot who never returned from duty in World War II.
That's sort of the plot later on in the film.
It's the plot. It's straight to the point.
Reporter begrudgingly talks to old lady about stories she's not interested in.
After sort of breaking into her house.
Until a handsome man appears and she's very interested.
Oh yeah,
handsome? Question mark?
I don't know, because the version that I watched on YouTube was so low resolution I couldn't tell if he was handsome or not. It may as well have been a balloon with a face drawn on it.
I think, as I said to you, it was like watching an FMV video on the Sega CD in 1996.
How is it so compressed so much?
I think it's a way of battling the copy bots. Surely.
Oh, make it.
I don't know. It was a 10-year-old film now.
It's still available on DVD. You can get a DVD. It was only in
quality. It was only in 240p on YouTube though. So. Yeah, dirty.
It's 1944. A young bride goes to Union Station on Valentine's Day, her anniversary no less, to send her young Navy pilot husband off to war. He swears he'll come back. She swears she'll wait. He goes missing in action. But 65 years later, she's still living up to her end of the bargain.
She lived her life in hope.
I don't believe in giving up on things.
Now she has a chance to find her husband.
We would love to interview you for our television show.
Me?
Based on the international bestseller.
Look, I am not going to let Caroline Thomas die without the answers that she has been looking for.
Betty White.
Do you think it's possible you could find it?
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Somebody, somewhere knows what happened in that jungle. I'm going to find out.
The Lost Valentine. Saturday, 8:30 on Universal.
The film opens outside Union Station with a young man pushing an old lady into the building. Off you pop, Grandma. Go on.
In you go.
I wrote down that you could already tell this was going to be a different film because every other film that we've watched so far has been happy, jaunty music. This was quite sad music to start with.
It was a very depressing film.
Yeah.
All the way through it.
Instantly, you just know this isn't the same as the others. It might say the Hallmark, but...
Betty White goes in, and then for some reason... White. For some reason, this train station has got a museum display in it of military history. Of the exact person that she was waiting for in there.
She's become a more of a monument.
Yeah, it was just a monument to the people, the brave men and soldiers who left that station on to go fight the war.
Do all train stations have that?
Oh, I don't know if they all left from the train stations. That seems like a very specific Army, Navy train station.
It was Union Station. I'm assuming that's like Grand Central or whatever.
We do learn she's been coming there for 65 years, though.
Yeah.
She's been coming to that train station for 65. If somebody was showing up the same day for 65 years, the least she deserves is a photo on the wall.
Yeah. Like eating a big pizza.
Yeah.
She had a Richmond.
I mean, it would have had an extra layer to it of watching Betty White trying to eat like an entire pig.
Some hot wings.
Betty White's hot wing challenge. And then we have a flashback in time.
Straight out the gate, we have production value. We have an actual steam train and period suitable. Yeah. Period suitable costumes for everyone. It's not just two people stood on the road. There is a whole crowd of people in World War II circa uniforms.
Not only could they afford the extras, they could afford to get outfits for them.
I bet
time appropriate.
I bet you it's one of them reenactment people.
Yeah.
They showed up with their own gear, you know the type. Yeah.
Either that or 2011 was a very different time monetarily for Hallmark.
I mean, I'd have thought they'd have spent all their money getting Betty White and Jennifer Love Hewitt on board, but here we are.
It seems like Jennifer Love Hewitt was the driving force behind this. Looking at it, she's got an exec producer credit on it. So
save it for Craig facts.
It's not important, that one.
So we find out that her husband, what was he called? I've just got him as a non-union Crash Holly from WWE. I'll send you a picture.
I'll take your word for that one.
I'll send you a picture. He looks proper like him, though.
Okay.
They find out that she's pregnant and he's going off to war. But even so, she still chases the train as he's leaving, which I thought was unwise for a pregnant lady to do.
It's not just like she chased the train. She was stood on the train as it set off.
It was a simpler time then.
Simpler time.
No health and safety.
The first of many foot shots that seem to linger a little too long in this film.
Yeah, there's a lot of that later on. The last sort of 10 minutes, I'm like, I've seen Betty White's feet more than I care to ever again.
It was directed by Quentin Tarantino, so...
Directed by some sort of book-nonce.
Yeah, she gives him a Valentine's note, the first and only reference to Valentine's that we get.
It isn't, but okay.
I know it's not.
Yeah.
She says,
you have my heart, now bring it back.
Something like, she'll always love him.
Yeah.
No, that's 300, isn't it?
Titanic.
Come back on your shield. Yeah, that doesn't happen in this film. And then we cut back to the real time, and Betty White's just fallen asleep, stood up. It's like, was that a dream? Did that happen? She sits down on her wooden bench, and we
strokes the side of it very, very lovingly.
Same bench, 66 years later.
She just
the one place
stroking all those farts.
That That train waiting room has not been renovated in 65 years. That was the one thing I noticed.
You've got to keep that bench there for
just
old
move
Betty when she
around.
comes in. Well, they've not even put that
horrible... the bench after him or her.
Yeah, put a plaque on the back of it.
Well, he's still missing in action, wasn't he? So he was.
Yeah, he's not dead.
Never actually
he's not dead.
Name it after her then. Caroline.
Or Betty White. Yeah.
Betty White bench, but Caroline's bench.
And then we cut to a news broadcast just after they've gone off air.
It's like a weird...
It's American Diary, I'll have you know.
Which I assume is like a segment from the One Show.
It's a non-union This American Life.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
American Diary, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
We meet her...
Susan.
We meet her boss, Craig, who suffers from thumb face, as all these men do. And for some reason, they're all carrying empty coffee cups with them. Because there's no way you would carry a coffee cup.
Holding a microphone.
To be fair. Yeah.
You couldn't get a boom mic, so...
and her boss is like, you need to go and do a report
about this old lady.
About this old lady who goes there every day. And she's like,
husband is
fuck action. That looks like the stupidest thing. And her grandson is in the room. And I'm
Lucas. Like, I got names written down today.
Oh, have you? Right, because I literally didn't.
Lucas.
I've got Lucas. I've got the power of Lucas later, yeah. Because she doesn't want to have to go and interview the mayor or something who's being re-elected.
A senator.
A senator. Yeah.
She doesn't want to go to the Senate because that's not...
But she compares this to a Japanese dog story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the dog waited
for his master.
Yeah, 10 years after he died.
It was made into a film with Richard Gere, wasn't it? Or something very similar.
I don't know. It's an episode of Futurama, isn't it?
Oh, don't. That makes me cry. But yeah, it's Greyfriars Bobby. There's countless examples of dogs waiting for people who never came back.
Yeah.
But I think calling Betty White a dog is a bit below the belt. She's America's grandma.
Yes.
So does she agree to take this job at this point?
No, she doesn't at that point.
She says, no, I'm sorry, greasy hunk behind me, because he looked quite greasy. He had the sort of Tony Stark goatee.
See, I couldn't work out whether that was like a proper moustache beard combo or the resolution was that low. It was just like a teenager's.
Jimmy Garoppolo is, but for any NFL fans, he looks like a non-union Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll send you a picture.
That's a reference for nobody. I thought you said Janine Garofalo at first, and I was like, it looks nothing like her.
Reference, Joe.
Everyone remembers Crash Holly.
No.
You will.
Okay. Then we get to Betty White's house.
And the pushiest woman ever barges her way into the house.
Jennifer Love Hewitt, who knows somebody wants to do the interview.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she lies to Betty White and says that she's a friend of Lucas.
She knows him. She makes the distinct point that she doesn't lie. Journalistic integrity.
But instantly she gets invited into the house just because she knows Lucas.
Well, it's a grandson.
Betty White, isn't it?
So for any robbers out there, just say that you know Lucas and you're in.
And then bam, back of the head with a hammer.
Different film.
Yeah. But Betty phones up Lucas and says, your friend's here. And then Lucas is like, I'll be there in a second. I don't know
he's literally there in a second.
It's the power of Lucas.
Is this where you got the power of Lucas?
That's the power of Lucas. He can teleport.
Turns up.
Yeah. There's some sort of gardening hilarity that happens.
Is it the rose bush? Is this where we're first introduced to the rose bush?
We're first introduced to the rose bush, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And after just serving tea to Susan, Betty White goes and makes iced tea. Because we got both kinds of tea here, regular and iced.
Betty White struggled to get up the stairs a little bit as well.
They were quite steep downstairs for an old lady. I was like, get a ramp.
Yeah. Or just make her walk off in a different direction. She doesn't have to go up the
just
stairs.
walked off screen. We cut to a rooftop where Susan and her friends are jamming to sexy saxophone music.
I'm being very judgy about this poor woman's life choices.
Yeah.
And I've literally got all your friends are jerks.
Yeah, I've got super judgy and bitchy friends.
The woman that she works with, who's like her assistant, I think, is a proper prick all the way through it. To be fair, even at the end, she's like, "I wouldn't have done it," and I'm like, That's why you'll always be an assistant and never a Hewitt. Yeah. Boyfriend Andrew proposes to her, but doesn't. Just gives her the ring and assumes that she's gonna make it up.
He does it in front of the other couple as well, which I find bizarre.
Is this a thing we propose in front of people? I mean,
well, to be fair, she doesn't like she.
He doesn't even say, "Will you marry me?" Though, does he? He just goes,
Yeah. Is it like a proto Instagram where we're live streaming the engagement?
And then we cut to the interior, and there is a big salad on the table.
Yay!
It's big salad, and it goes in the sink. Yeah.
And nobody eats it.
Nobody eats it now. Well, there's all sorts of stuff on the table. There's a lot of tomatoes as well. I saw for some reason. And we find out what Andrew's job is. He's a place-going picture taker.
Yeah, indeed.
I go to places and I take pictures. You mean a photographer? No. Maybe he draws them, like watercolor challenge.
That's when we find out he's never around.
No, he's going to Fiji tomorrow, the loser.
Yeah.
She doesn't actually say no or yes.
No, she keeps he says you can keep the ring and have a think about it, which is never a good sign, is it?
Is that a thing as well, though? If you get a rejection, it's not keep the ring, have a think. Do you not
she didn't.
I'll put that back in my pocket.
She didn't say no,
but she didn't say yes either. So
she was more taken aback by the fact he did it in front of the other couple. And
it's
that he never actually asked her.
It's like doing it at a sports venue where they're then pressured into saying yeah. It's a jerk maneuver.
It is a little bit because he just puts pressure on.
He leaves.
Whoever gets asked.
Yeah, he leaves.
He's off to Fiji.
He's off to Fiji in the morning.
Which surprised me again.
To draw or take some pictures. We're not sure.
I assumed he lived there, and he just left her and the other couple just to it.
I don't think he does, because when he shows up later in the film, he just sort of knocks on the door and is like,
"Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right." So
I'm presuming that it's separate bed situation.
Yeah. He needs a lot of space for his picture-taking equipment.
Camera.
I don't know. An easel. Yeah.
Camera, yeah.
And his etchings. And then the weirdest thing happens. Her lady friend leaves, and her boyfriend/husband kisses Jennifer Love Hewitt as he leaves.
I think they're very good friends.
No, no. No one ever does
Okay.
that, ever. I've never, ever kissed a lady friend of mine in a goodbye sort of way. I've hugged them and stuff, but I would never...
That's the actor taking advantage of the situation. That he's
I mean, yeah,
this
you
is
would.
his one chance to act opposite Jennifer Love Hewitt. It's like, nah.
Oh, it's what friends do, booby honking. Yes. I know, it just really took me aback a bit. 'Cause I was like, that's so weird.
Okay.
Maybe it's a European thing. I don't know.
American.
Well, whatever. And then we're just left with Jennifer Love Hewitt, Susan.
It was the weirdest
staring at a ring.
Yeah. She seemed to be laid down, staring at the ring.
Yeah, like Gollum. We cut to Betty at a veterans home or something, handing out magazines and doing bits.
She did seem to be, didn't
she was having a whale of a time. It was like her type 5 for the Comedy Store. Yeah.
Just doing her best, reading to veterans, ruining any chance of any sort of joke being made by us. Just no humour to be taken from the situation at all.
I was trying my best, but it's hard to make jokes about veterans, isn't it? Yeah. Without coming across as a dickhead.
Please, can we move on from the veterans home? This is going to be a black hole of content.
I mean, we did find out at this bit that Jennifer Love Hewitt doesn't speak to her family. But it never crops up again.
It does at the end. Her father's dead, but she doesn't talk to her mum, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't know why. It's never explained.
And that Lucas supports Betty White, I assume financially.
Well, there's a lot of money in
physio.
Because I've got, as pickup lines go, flex your hips is up there, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you know where this is going. They cut to them having a picnic, sort of after she's finished reading, and she explains that like this is her sort of giving back and stuff. And then, bizarrely, at a picnic, they've got metal glasses. They clink them, and they've got like these red and gold. And I'm like, that's a very posh picnic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's how the other half live, isn't it?
But it was at like
5 years on a war pension.
It was that was still at the veterans' home, wasn't it?
No, they were outside. They were sat on a bench.
Yeah, I know, but I thought it was like
I don't think it's a home. I don't think they live there. I think it's like a drop-in centre.
It was. It said something about veterans on the sign.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that. Or it was too blurry to read.
Oh, yeah. So I just assumed they just went inside and got the glasses from there. But you're right.
And
Seems
then
a dangerous thing to do.
We get an entire big backstory with everyone's favourite generic jazz music of the era.
That creeps up a lot in this film.
No, but at the same time, we actually get some proper music.
There are proper songs in there, yeah. No, there's 2 or 3 proper songs. There's 3 versions.
I only recognise one of them.
There's 3 versions of that song in it.
Yes, there's 3 versions of Dream a Little Dream. Craig Facts preview.
Which, yeah.
Well,
at this point as well, I noticed the background Foley sounds as well was really loud. The birds tweeting was really loud. I don't know whether it's because I was watching it on headphones.
Okay.
But it was almost, you couldn't hear the dialogue sometimes in it. And we learned how they met.
Young husband.
Yeah, little Crash Holly.
Little Crash Holly, who was a trainee pilot at the time.
And baby Susan, who has the face...
the USO show.
Has the face of a maniac. And
they actually grew up together, apparently.
They grew up together. He went off to do something. She stayed there, and then she was selling war bonds, I think.
Yeah.
Bonbons.
War bonds. Selling bonbons. And then we get to meet Susan's sister, who's never mentioned again.
No.
I think she is. I'm sure she's mentioned in passing at some point later on in the film.
Okay.
I may have missed that. And we find out how people used to live back then. They'd put stars in their windows to show how many men were in the army.
Yeah, it turned into a proper Nat Geo documentary at this point.
I was like, is that actually true? I looked it up, and it is. I was like, oh, right. That's great.
I assumed it would be. There's no reason to make that up.
They'd all grow tomatoes.
This was in 1943, by the way.
Yes.
I just didn't mention that.
Yeah, obviously. There's tomato hijinks where he eats a tomato that should technically be going to everyone. This is how communism doesn't work. And everyone gives their pots and pans to the war effort. So how did people cook stuff? Just on a stick over a fire?
Just ate raw
tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Feeding them to each other because there's no cutlery either.
No, that's a melt that down.
That's them next week.
Yeah, they won't adopt chopsticks. No. And it cuts to them outside, telling them that they love each other and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the radio starts playing a song, and young Susan looks at young Crash Holly with a look of disgust I've never seen on a human's face before. And then she does a weird laugh. Like, it's just out of the blue. I don't know whether it's been cut wrong or something. But she glares at him, and then she just goes, ha 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 ha! And it was like, okay. Young Susan is a maniac. I've said this, and I will say it before.
To be fair, I did notice it did look a little bit like Betty White.
Yeah, they did a pretty good... Well, we never get to see adult
Well, maybe that was the
Crash
issue.
Holly.
You got someone who looked like Betty White.
I can suspend my disbelief. You know what I mean?
Apparently they went for the lookalike because apparently they went for somebody with a similar bone structure facially for her.
This is spoiling Craig facts. We've got a jingle.
Sorry.
Back to the present day, and we get to...
Wait, no, they get married first.
Yeah, they get married. They buy a house.
Because they said back in them days you didn't want to waste any time with the war.
Because you could be dead at any time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, not like today. Yeah, they bought a house for $100, and then which works out today at $1,500. So it's still cheap.
Yeah.
For a house. Today. I missed that then.
$1,500.
Oh, $1,500. Okay.
I think.
Bit of a fixer-upper though.
Oh yeah, they dismantled the whole house. It looks like, and then rebuild it all.
Yeah, it got very up at this point, didn't it?
It did, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think I've got. There
was a lot of water.
This is basically up.
Well. You just seem to love a sprinkler and spraying each other.
Well, I've got literally plank fight, paint fight, hosepipe fight. Young Caroline is a maniac. They do the house up, and you get to see that like it is very up. It's very they've put their everything into this. They didn't have a honeymoon.
He has carved the name on this mailbox. It hasn't been professionally 3D carved at all.
No, because he carves
perfect fontage.
Carves a little plane later on as well.
Spoiler alert. He also plants the rose bush at this point.
The rose bush of symbolism, yes.
Yeah.
They didn't have a honeymoon. They stayed at home. And she said it was the best time of her life. Yeah, we know why, Betty.
Wink, wink, wink.
That's why they were having all them plank fights.
They then hear about war.
There's just a really long shot of a sprinkler as well.
That's a lot of water wastage.
Yeah, well, can't use water in the war. Got to drown it out just in case the Reds show up.
Do we know where this was meant to be set?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, that wouldn't make sense. Yeah. No. No.
I
don't think it's mentioned.
Small town America is where it's set.
I know when he does go off to war, he gets a train to San Francisco. But I guess that could be from
anywhere.
But I assume it's relatively close.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure there was a mention of a couple of days' travel there, so it could be the other coast. But
could be.
Who knows?
And then Comedy Postman doing bits as well. When she's sending letters to him every day. And then Comedy Postman building is, I'm all for it. I like a Comedy Postman. Back to the present day. And
Lucas walks away for a big job in the NBA.
Susan sees Lucas doing some street physiotherapy.
Yeah. Trying to get that money any way you can.
Well, yeah, he's doing it on the street.
I'll diagnose you.
By making a man with a broken arm hold a bat or something. I don't know whether that's legit what you're supposed to do. He walks into where he works. There is one of them big balls just loose in the corridor, which seems dangerous to me, or reminds me of The Prisoner when it chases you across the beach. And then we're introduced to the best bit in this film, the big ball room. It's just a room full of big balls.
I can't understand why you need that many big balls.
Listen, don't quite. They had two, and them big balls breed like rabbits.
I would say half a dozen patients at once who would need that.
He
might be doing that wall.
He might be doing antenatal classes on the side.
You still don't need 20.
That many of them. No.
I don't know.
It wasn't that big a room.
No, if you got all them off the racking, you wouldn't be able to move. You could roll across them, I guess. Maybe that's what he does. And he tries to do
some lunging exercises in heels, which is...
Oh, yeah, this is when she starts to like him a little bit.
Susan never takes her heels off.
Yeah, never takes her heels off. I'll do
we don't see her feet
because I've got back problems.
He's giving us some helpful tips, and she suddenly feigns a phone call from her boyfriend.
You know why?
Fiance at that point.
She looks at his big hands and literally has a moment.
He was stood behind her, so I just assumed she felt something.
No, she looks at his big hands and then goes, "Oh, my phone's going." Yeah, and then a fun bit of antics happens.
Yeah, it was. It was like the director went, "We need a bit of comedy in this film. Put it in there." We've got the big ballroom and now a fake phone call.
Which then the phone does ring, and it's that old chestnut. Betty White reads out a letter from her husband, and at this point I was like, there is a distinct lack of semen jokes in this because it's rife for it, isn't it? And there's none of it.
He was a pilot. It's going to be.
He says, and there was a big ugly sailor looking at me, and he could have just said semen, couldn't he? Play the game.
The kid's born.
Yes,
her kid, and the roses start to bloom at that point as well. Again, for
she's hanging out socks.
Symbolism.
Hanging out socks on the washing line that are literally dripping with water. She's not even wrung them out first. And they're going to take forever to
days.
Dry.
Them, yeah, we're there for days. Them. Told you, wasting water again.
It's clearly a warm place.
Even so, you wring that's why you have a spin cycle on your washing machine to push out excess water. I'm assuming it would have been a mangle back then. But even so, she could have just wrung them out by hand.
Yeah, just do by hand over the road. Push. Save water. Save lives.
Could have reused that water.
This is not the point I thought we'd get hung up on.
Before water meters, that's why, yeah.
And then we meet Mr. Telegram Man.
He was the harbinger of doom.
A.K.A. Death News Man.
Yeah.
Wherever he goes, death falls in his way.
Yeah.
This poor man must be able to deliver something other than your husband's dead notices.
He plays a fun game with them. He pretends to go to one house, but no, goes to the other one.
I thought that. I was running up and down the street like, meh.
Have you ever seen Take Me Out, Paddy McGuinness thing, where at the end the lad goes to the one girl, but oh no, he's going to go to the other one?
Yes, it had a very similar vibe to that.
Yeah.
Let the letter see the widow.
That's great. You had that prepared. Yeah, and then he eventually comes to her house.
No, Betty White.
He does.
Betty White in the real world.
Betty White has a heart attack.
Has a heart attack, and they go to hospital.
That's after they mention this.
No.
No, he goes next door to a neighbour because he's like, "Is it for you? Is it for you?" Nah.
He does the neighbour, and then he goes. There's a whole other bit of thingy, and then he comes back to her. Because I've got it written. Tells her that he's missing in action, but he first of all catches the milk bottles, which I thought was brilliant.
Mm.
And then we come back to the real world. Betty White goes, "I'm a bit tired now, because this is sad." That's when she collapses and have a heart attack. Well, spoiler, as a heart attack.
It could well be, because at this point I stopped making notes about the World War II flashbacks because I was like, I can't do anything about this. It's all. I think I wrote a number of times going, relatively well done World War II melodrama.
Is this your second film that you spotted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't the fun hijinks of the ballroom.
That's
gets no better than the big ballroom, I tell you.
Neil's missing in action. Then she wants
not dead. He's not dead.
Not dead. Back to the real world. She wants to take a break. She says she's tired, and then I assume it's not actually her. But
I don't know. Betty White does her own
Betty White outfit falls on the stairs.
Which is
there's a mild heart attack.
Oh no,
and at
Betty.
this point, I'm like, is she going to die now before the end of the film?
No.
I thought that, but I thought, I'm not going to kill Betty White off in this film.
Not halfway through, anyway.
Yeah.
We can only pay for a half days. Lucas comes to visit Susan, but phones her first while outside the house, which is a bit creepy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But
comes across as sweet and romantic and sexy, and it really isn't.
In the real world, you'd be like, "Now, please leave."
Something that she points out to him later on.
Yeah, they're talking very closely and very slowly.
Very, very closely. We've also found out that her boyfriend is staying longer in Fiji or wherever he is.
He's in
because
Fiji.
Some blokes have a raft. He's going to go fishing.
Something like that. Some nonsense. They just got a generic.
Yeah, I've literally got the boyfriend is having a slow, casual arsehole turn. So it's just a slow meander around the corner rather than a sharp turn.
He didn't even have that in the end. He was quite nice.
Yeah, he helps her out, doesn't he? By talking to Mr Meringue. But yeah, they nearly kiss. And I'm like, this is a bit quick, because you've not known him that long.
No,
it must be his big hands. That's what she was. I like a man with big hands. Yeah.
He helped her with her hips, and she's in love suddenly with him.
I mean, I've heard worse.
Yeah.
This is the Hallmark movie side of this film, not the riveting, award-winning World War II drama. It's the meet cute Hallmark movie on the side.
And then
Senator time. She interviews the senator.
She interviews the senator,
who says, "If you need anything, give me a shout." Whilst you're in DC.
So she pulls.
To which she says, "Oh, actually," but we never find out what it is.
It was to get the information. It was to get the information.
See later, though.
It was to get the information released about what happened to
Neil.
Crash Ollie.
Crash Bandicoot, or you call him? What did you call him?
Crash Ollie. And we find out that one of his platoon or division or whatever survived and came back.
Yep. Wasn't listed as dead, but wasn't dead. It was a sort of Starship Troopers moment where
clerical error.
You're not dead.
Rico. Dead men talk all the time. And at this point, I was like, is she going to do a seance? Because that would be fun. That would be a turn I didn't see coming.
She is the Ghost Whisperer.
That's what I thought. See, yeah, I thought, you're tying these things together. Yeah. No.
Crossover.
She just goes and talks to a yokel who's fixing a tractor. Doesn't even stop fixing the tractor.
See, this was in Texas, which makes me think that the film wasn't filmed in Texas. So I was wondering about the water.
Well, we can cross out DC, California, and Texas. We can cross out 3 states.
All I've written for this guy is that I've not got a clue what he was saying, other than Neil saved his dad's life and there's a letter.
Yes,
he said a letter in between that, and I have not a clue what he said.
Well, basically, Neil saved his dad's life by giving him the escape on a cart.
Which we do see later on.
Yes.
Is that what he was saying?
Did they mention the cat? I was sure it was like they put him in a box and there was only room for one of them in the box.
He said something along those lines, yeah.
I just honestly couldn't understand what he was saying, so it bypassed me.
You racist.
Hillbillies are people too.
Sorry.
And we find out that Crash Holly is a goddamn hero.
Yeah, it was like, oh, he's a war hero. Okay.
And through talking to, we find out that.
Sorry
Neil,
to interrupt you there.
Go on.
But Susan, first of all, gives the man in Texas gives Susan the letter to give to Betty White. Susan gives Betty White the letter, and I think that's just Betty White's just had a heart attack.
Yeah, they're trying to kill Betty White.
That might bring up some memories or whatever it is. Surely she's a risk.
No, it'll make her heart swell and grow powerful and strong.
That's not a good thing.
Strong heart.
That's where it explodes.
We find out that Crash has gone native.
In the Philippines.
In Manila. Because at this point I was like, this is going to go one of two ways. We're actually going to have the budget to go to some sort of tropical-looking Manila, or we're going onto a set with some palm trees.
And what did we get?
Could have been either or.
I think we got the set.
I don't know.
A bit, maybe not.
There's a whole bit where Susan's horrible friend is like, you shouldn't talk to Lucas because he's a jerk. And she just goes, backing away. And I was like, what are you doing, you mad bastard?
Is that before or after Lucas tries to give her a gift and...
He tries to give her like a rowing machine or something?
Some sort of exercise
something for you.
equipment.
It slides back and it's something to do for your hips.
Oh, she's obsessed.
I know.
Her hips don't lie.
Yeah.
Shakira.
She says she likes him at that point as well.
Well, I was like, she was going to snog him before, but now she's being all...
this one.
But now she's being all cold and distant because her awful friend reminded him that she has an actual awful boyfriend.
Yeah, who's never around and who's currently in Fiji doing God knows what with the natives.
Parasailing in the ocean.
Yeah, it felt very much like, I love you, but now I hate you. So it didn't work.
Yeah.
We get to see his book, Lucas's book, Stretch.
One stretch fits all.
Is that what it was called? Yeah. Damn it! I couldn't make it out. It was so low. It was so low res. I couldn't make it out. All I saw was Stretch. And I was like,
later on that I saw it said one stretch fits all.
Also, book signing for exercise book.
Who signs exercise books?
Famous is he?
Perverts. That's who.
In a few scenes' time, the queue is quite long.
People want to know how to stretch, I guess.
Yeah. Also, the title "One Stretch Fits All" is just not true.
No. It's not, because you'll do more damage than good, I guess.
Many stretches for your specific needs should be the title of the book.
See, this is where we get the trope of the classic Hallmark family members telling him to go for it with the girl. Your mom
literally out of nowhere. It's like, hello, character we've not met.
Yeah.
That was her son, so his father.
Yeah. They've come from New York, so we can...
Rule out New York as well.
Because
that's where I thought, like in the suburbs, because of the Union Station thing, I thought it would be like a... But no, it's not.
Might have come from across the river, might be Jersey.
Jersey, yeah. And we find out that there is a survivor who knows what happened.
Back in Fiji.
No, he's in the Philippines.
He's in the Philippines. Yeah. He's been put onto him
it was
by...
the boyfriend's connections in Philippines got him.
Yeah, his picture contacts.
We have the breakup before this, though, don't we? The boyfriend's back, and he goes, I thought you might want to get married. Yes. And she goes, No, I really didn't. He goes, fair dues.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'm off again now. I'm back.
And we find out this man is called Meringue. And
when he turns up, she says, have you got any connection in the Philippines? Yeah, I do. Great. Well, let's break up now.
Yeah.
But still help me, please.
But then we have the act-free misunderstood hug.
Yeah.
That's the important part. We have to have him creepily hanging outside a house yet again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I've literally got, did he say the man was called Meringue? And then later on, he is called Meringue.
She turns up at Lucas's book signing, all dressed up, ready to go.
jumps the queue.
Yeah, very fancily dressed for a book signing.
Very fancily dressed, yeah.
Bad etiquette. Bad etiquette. I don't care if you know the author. Get in line like everyone else.
Yeah, how about a queue up?
Yeah.
Oh, this is where we get the next bit of comedy, though.
Picks up the wrong book.
Yeah, she picks up the wrong book for him to sign.
Picks up a cooking book. It's all right. Her comeuppance is right around the corner because, surprise, because you didn't do what we told you to do, you're now demoted.
Yeah, you have to go live in a cubicle.
Yeah, you've gone from an office. Where are you going to put these hundreds of awards that you've got? We're just going to stick you in a cubicle because that's how journalism works.
Apparently so. Don't mess with Craig.
Yeah.
He
was a Craig.
He was a Craig. Craig the Thumb. Yeah.
Well, she tried to get away with saying she's not been had a holiday for 3 years, so she's going on now.
That's not how it works. No.
You've got to book this time off.
You've got to book this time off. Make sure that nobody else is off.
You can only carry 5 days over a year as well.
It's not our job, but you can just do whatever you want.
25% ruling.
And they put Betty White onto like a Skype call with Mr Meringue.
Yeah, Manila phones in.
And I'm going to say, Meringue is a fucking geezer. I love him. Because he's like, oh yeah, we did rescue him. And he was like, no, they were like, no, you must go because this other guy's dead. And he was like, nah, he's not. And they were like, oh, okay then. They repair.
No, he is. No, take him.
It was the great disguise that if the Japanese patrol stopped them, they would never think to check the cart because they put a blanket, a frond, and a coconut on the man.
He's literally hanging out.
You can see his head out the back of it.
He was lolling around.
I was like, I just like the frond they put over him. That'll do.
That mango looks suspiciously like an American GI.
I'm pretty sure it's never mentioned, but I don't think Neil wants to go back home. And this
feels
whole
that
movie
way,
is
doesn't
just
it?
false.
Because he joins the resistance.
Yeah. And Meringue is like, we would go out and hunt Japanese patrols and kill them. And I was like, all right, Meringue, calm down.
A completely different movie starts happening. It's like
we have like a Rambo flashback.
Yeah, we stroll into Rambo, and not even one of the good Rambos, one of the later ones.
Crash Holly, you know he's gone native and he's a gorilla because he's got a headband on. Despite having no hair to keep out of his eyes, I didn't quite understand that. And he sees a small child sort of fondling his dead mother.
In a boat.
Get in the boat. Boy gets out of boat. No, get in the boat.
Yeah, he goes to rescue as a sniper, I think. He's starting shooting. There's a lot of wasted bullets flying around there. Yeah. And because this child stands up and doesn't understand get down.
Not even the words get down. Doesn't understand that bullets are flying.
Yeah. Crash Holly puts himself between the sniper and them, gets shot in the back.
He didn't want to go home.
I have a feeling
like he wanted to die.
You could have gone home, mate. Yeah. They could have snuck you out to an American base. But he's like, no, I want to go and play gorilla.
And even when they were trying to save him, he was like, no, just go. No, okay. Well, we can drag you in. We've got time.
Get in the boat with us, mate. You know.
I really wanted it to be a sort of Harold Bishop thing where he's stuck off in the Salvation Army somewhere else with amnesia.
I thought that's what it was going to be.
He comes back playing a tuba. But also, free boat for that kid, so that's good, isn't it?
Brilliant.
I thought we might get to meet the kid as well afterwards. Like,
I'd have thought like he saved my life.
We've only got 10 minutes left now.
It felt like they had the whole film, and they just
you have to rush the ending,
yeah. It's like we've got 10 minutes left. We've got to make everybody cry multiple times.
Yeah, he was left there anyway, and he died.
No, they buried him near the cliffs.
They buried him.
But he still died.
But yeah, he's still dead. I would assume they buried him if he was dead, not the other way around.
They tried to keep a man alive who was dead. So.
And Betty White at this point is the best thing in this film. She absolutely crushes it at this point.
All of a sudden, it's like Betty White is wasted on comedy.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out again, she's finding out a lot of harrowing information having just had a heart attack.
That's
passage of time. It's fine.
My theory is that is it not better to know for definite than to be constantly thinking that he could be out there. At least we know.
He's playing the tuba in the Salvation.
He's brown bread, mate. Yeah.
I don't know. She's old now. You might as well let her pretend like he's alive.
No.
It helps no one.
But it's better to know.
She's on the cusp of death already, so...
She's already had one heart attack, yeah. And then Susan and Lucas finally kiss. And it pauses.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I was like, is that me? Or, it just does a weird pause for like a second before it cuts to black. And I was like...
Hard break.
Yeah. The American military show up.
Yeah, they decided to bring the body home.
Yeah, bringing the body home.
They bring back her belongings. Decide to award him some medals. I start crying.
They award him a Purple Heart, a Silver Star, and the Navy Cross.
Yep.
I didn't look up what they were, but they sound like legitimate things that people can win.
Purple Heart's a good one, I think.
Purple Heart's
that's like a hologram card in
the Purple Heart's just for members who get injured during war.
Is it?
So yeah, it's just for injuries. Having watched Band of Brothers, that's where I know that from.
Purple
I'm not sure about the Silver Cross or what it was. Or...
Wounded or killed while serving is the Purple Heart.
Yeah.
Silver Star. Gallantry in action against an enemy of the United States.
Okay.
AKA put a fella on a fruit cart.
And the Navy Cross. That was good because it's already there. Second highest military decoration awarded to Marines and sailors for extraordinary heroism in combat with an armed enemy force. So very similar to, but just like a Navy-specific one.
Was he a Navy man, though? I thought he was in the Air Force. He was flying planes. Why is he getting a Navy medal?
He can still be in the Navy and fly planes.
Can you? Are you sure? I thought that was in the Air Force. We're just naming films.
All right. No, I'm not.
They were all in the Navy, but they had pilots.
Yeah, I think they work.
I've not seen that film since it was first released.
I think they work in tandem because the boats launch the planes, and the planes protect the boats. So it's like a symbiotic relationship.
Royal Air Force, but I do think you have pilots in the Navy as well.
But then this just got me thinking, though. It's like medals are useless, aren't they? Really, they serve no purpose.
Well, it depends. Oh well, yeah, I guess so.
The ones for if you're dead, it's just a thing to put in a frame, isn't it? For your family.
It's just ornament, yeah.
You could say that about any award.
Yeah, well, no. Well, I don't know. It just annoyed me that it's like people going to die, and all you get is a medal if you're dead. It's like fucking great.
You get medals if you survive as well.
But they serve no purpose. They don't do anything. You don't get a discount, do you? At fucking B&Q or whatever.
It's for all the mutleys out there that just want medal.
Yeah. And we cut anyway after this back to the train station on the day.
Back to the train station, and I realised symmetry is happening, and he's coming home, and again the tears continue to fall.
Just to point out that in his personal items that they brought back was that Valentine's heart thing that she gave him when he left.
Of course it was, yeah.
I mean, it was all tattered and...
Despite it being with a rotting body for the past 66 years.
Buried underground for 65 years.
But, it was in a leather pouch, so that's probably what made it survive.
Convenient.
And I genuinely thought I'd skipped back to the start of the film at this point. Because they have the exact same conversation that they had at the start.
It's a thing that they have every year.
No, I just genuinely thought, they've not cut the last bit off and just restarted it again, have they?
Yeah, I thought that.
No, they haven't, because there was a load of guys in white jackets fanning about in the background.
Yeah.
And the camera crew.
Yes.
And Jennifer Love Hewitt just giving thumbs up to her constantly.
Yeah.
And giving little looks to Lucas.
Yeah.
Which you're like, after this is finished, you know where we're going, right?
Yeah. Bone City.
But then we then proceed to see Betty White give the performance of a lifetime.
Yeah, this was tremendous stuff.
All in her eyes, wasn't she?
Well, I was just like, they bring the coffee in. Coffin.
The what?
The coffin.
She was thirsty at the time.
They bring the coffin in, draped in a flag. Again, I hate this sort of bullshit. And yeah, Betty White sort of stands up, gets in the way. Which I was
trying to walk forward and like, come on, old lady, move out of the way.
I was genuinely hoping they were just going to bash her with the coffin. Like a battering ram.
Come on, love, we've got a job to do here. Move.
And yeah, she literally just doesn't say anything. But at this point, yeah, I did start to my eyes filled up a wee bit.
I'm apparently dead inside because I was just like...
It was just because it sort of came out of nowhere. And yeah, it was genuinely heartfelt. And she sort of
I was assuming that she was going to pop a clock at that point.
Well, this is what leads me on to the ending of this.
Okay. Symbolism. Is she dead?
I thought she was going to, because it was finally he came home. I thought she was going to go. She knows he's dead now.
Finally rest now.
Go. Yeah. But no.
We get a tight. We do.
I wasn't affected by it. I thought.
Moment. We just get a Titanic moment in the garden.
So they then return to the house.
Ghost moment.
Betty White says, I have to go and water my roses, which I'm assuming is slang for go for a piss. And Susan and Lucas have some sort of weird breakdown in the front garden when the lawn's...
They waste a bunch more water as well.
I know, more water wastage.
Ridiculous.
There's not a war on now, though, so it's fine. Well,
you can tell I just bought a flat and I'm just saving money in water.
Keep your bath water and use it for your plants. They just have a weird moment where they're laughing at a lawn sprinkler.
Yeah.
Yeah, in slow motion.
Betty White looks across at the dead rose bush, and there's a little tiny baby rose growing on there.
It's a blooming. It's
back. The rose bush that we all thought was dead.
Because Betty White doesn't give up on anything, she said.
Yeah.
And then the song...
And then she gets hugged from behind by obviously not the actor that was originally playing him because we don't see his face.
I thought that. I was like, are they going to try and age his face so he's of appropriate age? No, they're just going to check from the top and not show his head.
Because their song
comes
on, doesn't it? I put she dances Ghost styles. Is that what happens in Ghost?
You've never seen Ghost?
Never seen Ghost.
Oh, mate.
I know of that scene, so...
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, the bit in Ghost is technically Patrick Swayze's spirit inhabits Whoopi Goldberg's body. So all that bit where they're doing sexy pottery is actually Whoopi Goldberg molesting.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That changes that whole thing.
If they cut to actually what's happening as opposed to what's spiritually happening, it would be Whoopi Goldberg and Demi Moore making pots together. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
They don't show that obviously because it'd be weird.
That's just a segment from The View.
And I don't know whether or not like you said at the end whether she dies, she goes home.
I think we get because we get the hose pipe dropping onto the stairs. I think
she was just dancing.
And she dies.
See, she was just dancing at that. I thought she was.
Nah, I think she dies. I think that's. I'm having my Titanic moment, going with my husband. The rose bush has bloomed. I'm back. My love is home. Everything's sorted.
It makes sense if that's what happened, because that's what I was assuming was going to happen.
Yeah. Doesn't explicitly say it, but just goes on to say, yeah, if you want to take it that she's dead, yeah, she's with her husband now, and these two tits are fanning out on the front garden.
Fanning about in the front garden, laughing at water.
And that was it.
That was it.
Yeah. Film.
Credits.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
What did you give it? Out of 10?
Not remembering what I've given things previously.
I'll find all that.
I'm going to say 7.8.
Okay.
Yeah, I've gone with an 8.5.
It was good,
but dead inside because I gave it a 6.2.
Oh, mate.
I think you're going to struggle
Nothing
to get
to
many
do with
better.
Valentine's. It was a solid enough film.
It was a Lost Valentine.
I know.
Nah.
I know.
It was good. Like I said, you got two relatively good actors in it. I mean, Betty White is the best thing in this by a country mile.
She's 99 now. Did you know?
She doesn't give a shit.
Sorry for ruining Craig facts, but she's 99.
Having read about Betty White's life, she's a badass. Yeah.
Yeah. She's who we all should be when we're that age.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
excellent.
I thought it was.
I think you'll struggle to get a better Hallmark film than that for production wise.
As always, I reserve the right to change my score. We're only 5 films in so far. If this is the pinnacle,
that's why I would have gone higher. I would have gone higher, but I thought I'll give it that little bit of leeway just in case.
See, I have
a Christmas film sweeps me off my feet.
I have high hope for Christmas films because that's where a lot of the bread and butter is, isn't it? That's the thing.
I clearly just have high hopes for every other film because.
Well, as you've only ever seen Bend It Like Beckham and Brian Lara's Sexy Cricket the Musical.
If there's a sports Hallmark film, I'm finding it.
Find them. There will be.
Yeah,
it'll be called like Soccer Love or something.
I'm sure there's like 50 original Hallmark films a year.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's about 500 of them out there now. There'll be a baseball themed film out there somewhere.
We can have a sports month.
You find the films, we'll do it. Yeah. Is it time for Craig Facts?
It's time for Craig Facts. Play that shit. Craig Facts. God, I love me a jingle.
This is what I do with my time now.
Well done, Joe.
You're welcome.
Okay, so this film did star Jennifer Love of the Hewitt, star of Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, Garfield 2, A Tale of Two Kitties, and Dance, Workout with Barbie.
What is she most known for? I know her name.
I Know What You Did Last Summer or Party of Five.
I take Ghost Whisperer as well.
Yeah, possibly Ghost Whisperer. She's known for a few things.
Been in quite a bit of stuff, yeah.
Betty White as well, star of 1945's Time to Kill, 1951's The Daring Miss Jones, and 1998's Dennis the Menace Strikes Again.
I'm assuming that's the American Dennis the Menace, and not, not the Beano one.
It's the sequel to the John Hughes film where Walter Matthau didn't return.
Yeah.
And Don Rickles making his final live-action appearance.
That's depressing,
it's the film that killed his live-action career.
That's not good.
She's done loads, isn't it?
Yeah, she can.
A bunch of just random. I didn't have a look. She's done a bunch of random stuff. That you think, alright.
She's a jobber. She'll just work. She's like, yeah, I'm 99 and people still want to employ me to do something I love. Brilliant, yeah, I'll do it.
She also had, I think, in the 50s or 60s-ish, the Betty White show. And she had a black dancer on there. And the network were like, we can't have this on the network. You have to cut him. And the next week she had him back on for twice as long. And they cancelled her show for it. And I'm like, I don't care, you're a badass, yeah? Don't take no shit, woman, yeah? Betty White facts.
White facts.
It's no Betty White fan club now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure
she's amazing.
This film was directed by Darnell Martin, who has directed episodes of The Walking Dead, ER, and probably the most notable thing on her filmography, Sam Fox, Just One Night, which was a compilation of videos and interviews with Samantha Fox.
Samantha Fox, Anthony, was a 1980s Page 3 model.
Okay.
Who had a brief stint in a pop career as well, with songs such as Touch Me and possibly another one.
Yeah, there was a couple of sort of saucy little numbers in a Stock Aitken and Waterman beat.
The most famous thing I can recently think about is there was a program called the Nightclub. It was like a reality thing where they had to run a nightclub, and it was like her and Dean Gaffney. So this is the level we're talking. And she gets absolutely rat-arsed and gets her head caught in a cape. That's all I remember. I'll find the clip and send you. It's great. Yeah, she's trying to swirl this cape around her head and just get it stuck because she's that drunk. It's brilliant.
Excellent.
I'd forgotten all about that.
So yeah, wonderful. Betty White nominated for a SAG Award for a role in this film, the Screen Actors Guild.
Really?
For Best Female
the Screen
Actor.
Actors Guild recognise these films.
Yeah,
but they are films.
Best female actor in a TV movie or miniseries, losing out to Kate Winslet, and also nominated alongside her Diane Lane, Maggie Smith, and Emma Watson.
What?
So that was the lineup, and this film
was in a TV film, and
yes,
Kate Winslet.
I think she was Inappropriate Adult. I think it was the Inappropriate Adult came out.
Okay.
I genuinely thought you said Saga, like the old people's holiday company.
I can't remember what it'll have been a miniseries. I think it was. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what Kate Winslet was.
Right.
Yeah, it'll have been for a BBC miniseries or something like that. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Flushed away.
But Betty White did win an award that night. She won Best Female Actress in a Comedy Series. That same night, so she was nominated twice at the SAG Awards that night and won for Hot in Cleveland, which is obviously a sitcom that has completely passed me by, starring Betty White.
Yeah, I've never heard of that, though.
No, but yeah, winner that night. In an interview that I've seen with Jennifer Love Hewitt, she reminisces about filming with Betty White and the fact that Betty White took her out drinking.
Yeah, of course she did.
got absolutely shit-assed on vodka.
I was going to say, I bet Betty White can drink everyone under the table. She's like Marion in Indiana Jones and shit.
So this is what, 10 years ago? 89-year-old Betty White.
Demolishing Smirnoff,
night out on the town, eating pizza and drinking vodka with Jennifer Love Hewitt.
She's living her best life, isn't she?
Excellent. Isn't she, Joe?
I'm getting t-shirts made, lads.
As mentioned earlier, 3 versions of the song Dream a Little Dream of Me was in there. The Mills Brothers, the duet with Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, and the Doris Day version. But unfortunately, in a lovely production gaffe, the version by the Mills Brothers and the Ella Fitzgerald ones, which was shown in the World War II scenes, the Ella Fitzgerald one was recorded in 1950. Wrong. And the Mills Brothers one was recorded in 1964. So a good 20 years out there.
I thought that. I was like, I'm sure the Doris Day is the only one that was age appropriate.
Yeah. Doris Day is the only one that was time appropriate.
I'd like to imagine that's just her remembering it wrong.
Yeah, she's just mixing up the different versions of the same song.
They played it at the end, which would have been...
They played the Doris Day one at the end.
They played the
actual...
Okay. Yeah, they played the Doris Day one.
The first one where they're on the porch is...
Yeah.
It's not the Louis Armstrong one. No, it's later on.
No, Louis Armstrong was the second one, because I recognised it.
So even further from the truth, It's fine. Like I said, it was nice to have recognisable music in it rather than jaunty.
Well, that's it, rather than stock 20s jazz.
Yeah.
And to round out Craig Facts, of course, first aired January 30th in 2011.
January 30th,
yes.
Okay.
January 30th, yep. With a viewing number of, get this, 14.53 million viewers.
Seriously? Holy shit snacks!
It was the second most viewed thing in its time slot that night. I think it was the Pro Bowl that beat it out, which I'm guessing is in American football.
Yeah, that's about that time,
Yeah, like a college football one. So that's the only thing that beat it out that night.
Not college
Football, isn't it?
It's the best players from the season all together playing.
It's the Pro Bowl, so why is it not a lot of prostitutes?
So yeah,
well, when we do Sports Month, Anthony, we'll learn a lot about sports, won't we?
We'll all learn a lesson.
My time to shine.
I'm going to pick
weird
sports.
That sets the bar high
like
for a
7 times the average.
I mean, I guess when you do get actual actors, actresses, then
names
in it, yeah.
I mean, names with a lot of buzz going around, because it was incredibly well reviewed. It got a lot of very sort of positive scores at the time.
All the reviews I found were overwhelmingly positive. The only ones I got were negatives.
I'd give a positive review for reviewing it.
It was a fine film. It wasn't happy. In no way. I was genuinely, crazy, hoping for a Harold Bishop at the end. But nope, he was dead. He died protecting a child who didn't understand how boats work.
Because he didn't want to come home.
Run.
In maintaining this fact.
Run to the gunfire.
He knew she was pregnant. He didn't have to deal with that.
No, he loved her.
He loved her, not the kid.
All right.
I'm joking. Is that Craig Facts anymore?
Yeah, that's it. All done.
That was lovely. Excuse me.
It was lovely.
And now we get Joe's reviews.
Yeah,
I was not expecting that.
I've got a soundboard thing now.
I love it.
Again, overwhelmingly positive reviews. Most of them 9s, 10s. I did find some 1s, and so I'll do the 1s first, I guess.
I'm guessing these are trolls.
Or just people who don't like
people who don't understand how rating systems work is one of them. Janice M. Demerly gave it 1 out of 5 stars. One of my favourite stories. Why did you only give it 1 then, Janice?
Didn't like the adapting based on a book.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Where was that in Craig Facts?
I sort of glossed over it. I didn't really have much information about the book other than it was written in, I think, the mid-90s. So.
Okay.
And another one by Merrick Bank. 1 out of 5 stars. Looking for them for a long time, thanks. Helpful. I don't understand.
Somebody getting their Amazon. There's an Amazon review for like a pair of galoshes out there saying Betty White gives the performance of a lifetime 5 stars.
This is a 3 out of 10 review by Perky Pops 12, number 12 of the Perky Pops. This is a very lovely story, and in the right hands, should have been a very good film. It isn't, because it doesn't quite know or reconcile which love story it is trying to tell. And through its parallel development of two romances, it blurs and blemishes the story rich for the story poor. Which, yeah.
Symmetry.
I felt like they focused on Betty White's romance and didn't really focus on the other one, because that seemed to happen very quickly.
Very, very quickly, because of his big hands.
You didn't quite get any kind of detail of...
There's like 15 minutes on the cutting room floor of the Jennifer Love Hewitt story.
Betty White, Billy Magnussen, and Megan Fahey are excellent throughout, and there are some superbly delicate cinematic touches in the telling of the tale of a young airman who goes missing in action in World War II, his wife, and their loving devotion to Valentine's Day anniversary ritual of awaiting his return. The initial reluctant interest of a TV presenter, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt, is also cleverly interwoven in the story, but at this part, the script goes off the rails. Susan, the journalist, is also, it seems, waiting for love to return, except her would-be fiancé is alive and well and waiting. Is he? And there lies the problem. Okay, Perky Pops. For is Susan's interest in a really romantic story just overcompensation for her apparent failure to settle into her own heart? Now, call me old-fashioned, but the romantic life of Susan is easily eclipsed by the deft touches observed in the central theme. Fucking hell. And yet the film cannot make its mind up which is more important, thus losing them both. And there is the pity, because the delicacy of Betty White lifting her pretty little feet to the sound of a radio dance tune was worth 10 times as much as the clumsiness of Susan's romantic awakenings. Keep it light. And so, as much as I enjoyed the central theme, it wasn't strong enough to support the parallel bungled plot, which by comparison seems contrived, pretentious, and fake.
Where did you get this review from?
This is
off IMDb, this one.
Because that feels like someone who's trying to get a job becoming a movie reviewer.
No, that's a film student. That's a film student who's been said, you want to see Betty White in this drama film, she's really good in it. And then she's had to sit through it, not liked it because it's not high art, and gone, right, I'm going to just vent on IMDb about this.
Yeah, this will get me and the rest of the Perky Pops clan. And the best 10 out of 10 one. My puffy eyes say it all. Koodles to White. I don't know what koodles means. I think it means cuddles. They spelt it wrong.
Well done.
Or kudos. Yeah, it could be. But it's written koodles. And the entire cast by Y Cybex 16. This is my first review. I thought this is where I make my ground. This is the hill I choose to die on. And the only reason I'm writing this review is to express how much I absolutely adored this movie. I bawled my eyes out, cried rivers to say the least, over at least most of the second half of this movie. Clearly didn't care for Mr Meringue. Betty White is fantastic, you're not wrong. You can sense the emotion going through her face, and Billy Magnussen also surprised me by delivering very well on his part. Billy Magnussen must be Lucas.
Okay.
Yeah.
The scenes of them falling in love. Oh no, Billy Magnussen must be Crash Holly.
Betty White, yeah.
Because the scenes of them falling in love warm the heart, only to break it when we learn the truth at the end. It kind of reminds me of Pearl Harbor. Well done, Anthony. I think because it involves American military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it surprises me how this movie is a little on the unknown side. Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sean Faris make an interesting modern romance to complement the hardcore, my husband is off to battle kind of love. Is that a thing? My only critique of this movie would be the fact that they used the song Dream a Little Dream, which I instantly recognised as being a song not produced till years after World War II. Well, actually, you're wrong.
Actually,
I think you're fine.
Glasses pushed up the nose.
But regardless, it fits the scenario beautifully, and I can't say I don't love the Doris Day song. So don't. In conclusion, this is an absolutely terrific movie. Casting especially was great, and if you're reading this before you see the movie, be prepared to end up puffy-eyed after this. Thus ends reviews.
Joe's reviews.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fault it. It was, I think if I'd watched it in higher resolution, I would have enjoyed it more. But it is what it is.
It's the sort of film I hope we don't see more of doing this show, because
it was difficult to,
Yeah, you struggle to find the
joy in
it's just a fine film, yeah.
There is no humour in the situation. Yeah, we have to find the good ones eventually.
Yeah, there is good ones out there. We know this for a fact.
I feel bad that I'm giving it a 6.2 now, but
That's fine. That's fine. You stick with it. When like
Christmas you wait till Sports Month. 10 out of 10s.
Christmas in the Alps 2 comes on at Christmas, and you're like 10 out of 10.
Can we just watch all the Air Bud films? The dog that plays basketball.
Oh, we can find that.
Air Bud 2. Yeah.
Air Bud 2. Air Buddies.
In conclusion, that was The Lost Valentine. Have you got any final thoughts on the film?
Yeah, go watch it. It was good. Made me cry.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Not what I'd want
to watch.
Not what I'd want as a Valentine film, because I'd like it to end happily.
Yeah.
It's not a rom-com. If you're looking for a light-hearted rom-com,
which is what I think that's what I was expecting of a Valentine's film. Nope. This wasn't, but it was still a decent film.
As Perky Pops said, I don't know. I can't remember.
No. Anything else, Craig?
No, I'm good. It's a great little recommend if you're looking for something on a Sunday morning, and you can sit through a pixelated version on YouTube. You absolutely no reason not to watch it.
It is available on Prime for like £2.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's on the Hallmark channel as well.
Yeah, it will be. As we said, if you'd like to keep up to date with all things Hallmark of Greatness, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is @Hallmark of Great, Instagram @Hallmark of Greatness, and give us any recommendations at hallmarkofgreatness@gmail.com. We look forward to any correspondence you may have.
Please send it. We would love to hear from you. That's for us.
There are lots of films that we've exited Valentine's month now, so we're back onto regular viewing.
Yeah, recommend Anthony some sports films.
Hallmark films.
Yeah.
Sportsmark, yeah. They must exist.
They will. I'll find them. I'll do a deep dive.
I want to do Cowboy Month. That's going to be my pick.
Oh, we'll
have plenty of months.
I just want to see
Men in
Chaps.
Sci-fi months, but we need to find them yet.
And there's the one.
There's that one, isn't there? Yeah.
There must be more.
One. There must be more.
We'll keep you.
They're not going to build the sets to only use them once.
Well, they've got that as every one that we watched that's streamed off this. There is a series called The Good Witch, which I think there's about 20 different films for that as well. So,
there was a Good Witch marathon advertised.
Yeah, so that can be like a sci-fi fantasy.
Oh, yeah, there must be magic-y ones. Yeah.
It
doesn't have to necessarily be sci-fi, but it has, like fantasy tropes. Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll keep you all posted with what's coming next, and
check the Twitter and the Instagram. You'll find out.
Or join our mailing list.
Yeah, but I guess that's all we've got to say about.
Thank you all for listening.
It's been a great Valentine's month.
All hail Betty White.
Indeed, our hero.
Goodbye.